Comments we've had recently: car insurance is a rip-off, car insurance is legalised scam, car insurance is like a nuclear weapon, you have to have it but you hope you don't need to use it. All of these sentiments really express a distrust of the insurance industry, or a disappointment in how the insurance industry have dealt with people's claims. This video then is just going to look at that question: is insurance just a scam, or are there ways that we can avoid the scams and the issues that crop up with insurance, and specifically insurance claims? I actually worked for 14 years as an insurance consultant for a local independent brokers, and you build up quite a rounded out picture of the industry, and I'm just going to pass on some of the observations that I've made in this video so that you don't get caught out and you can buy really good quality insurance that is not going to disappoint you. Insurance, let's face it, it's something we buy and we do hope we never have to use it. It's one of those things we need. It's a legal requirement in pretty much every area, and the level of cover we get is really down to us. We can get a very basic level that just covers the liability to other people, and we can extend that to give us various levels of protection for our vehicle, our possessions, injuries, and also we can bolt on extras like breakdown assistance and legal assistance should we need it. And policies today have certainly evolved a long way from where they were when the insurance industry first started out. But a lot of people are disappointed when they make claims, and generally the big disappointment comes because of the policy wordings. The assumption everyone makes buying insurance is that all policies are exactly the same, that they'll get exactly the same exclusions, the same restrictions and the same level of cover. And with that mindset, people tend to go for the very cheapest option. They go onto a price comparison website and whatever pops up at the top is the one they take out. Now, the big problem with that is these cheaper companies often have more exclusions, more restrictions. And it's not until we start to examine these policies that we start to expose the difference between these basic cheap policies and the more expensive policies from reputable insurers. Whenever you get a quote, there's usually quite a big variation between the cheapest quote and the most expensive quote. And generally in the middle, there is a batch of quotes that are roughly the same amount. And when I take out insurance policies, I look for established names with a reputation, companies that have been around for a long time. They have a reputation to protect. Now, some of the little scams and schemes that go on with the cheaper policies is sometimes the cover that you take out won't actually cover you fully in the event of a claim. For example, windscreen cover may be limited to £200. You may also have to contribute a higher amount to a windscreen claim. And if you get a stone chip or a windscreen issue, the policy really is pointless having. You're still going to have to pay a bulk of the money yourself. Another thing that we see with some of these cheaper policies is you can only use their recommended repairers. Now, even large companies often have a network of approved repairers, but the larger companies are often a little more flexible. In some cases, they may allow us to take our car to a main dealer. And the situation we're in then is we may have to prove that the main dealer price is reasonable. They generally ask for 2 or 3 different quotations, and that will establish really the ballpark of what the repair cost actually is. Now, the problem with having a very specific repairer that we have to go to is, firstly, it's often really out of the area, and they've often negotiated bucket shop deals to get the cheapest repairs done, which often results in the lowest quality of repair, the lowest standard of service from these repair companies as well. And there's often restrictions like no courtesy car or hire car is available. Now, we have to be sensible. Often the difference between these cheap bucket shop policies and the reasonable policies that give more cover is generally only about £30 to £40. So we've got to ask ourselves, is it worth paying £30 or £40 to just provide that extra peace of mind if we have a claim, or should we take a chance? Now, myself, I've been driving over 30 years and I've used insurance once or twice in my lifetime. I think it was a windscreen claim that we made and someone opened a car door into the side of our car. That was annoying because it was a completely empty car park. They parked right next door to us, and as they opened the door, the wind took it and it just put a little crease in the side of our car. But their insurance company dealt with that. They repaired that. It was quite a few years ago. I haven't had to have that much dealings personally with insurance, but when I was working for that insurance company, I had a lot more work to do in dealing with insurance claims, and I really did get to see the differences between some of these cheaper policies and the more expensive policies. If we're unhappy with the way a claim is being dealt with, we can go to the Financial Ombudsman Service, and they handle thousands of complaints every year. Now, looking at statistics, they get more complaints from these smaller, cheaper bucket shop insurance companies compared to the established brand names that charge slightly higher premiums. You may also find that cheap insurance are often better at wriggling out of a claim. They often look at the many different exclusions in the policy and look for ways of applying that to the circumstances of the claim so they don't have to pay out, or they can pay out less money. And their offers are generally not as generous. They try and cut corners as much as possible when making settlements, and the loss adjuster they send out is specifically employed to reduce the amount the insurance company have to pay out in the event of a claim. Insurance company is a business. They basically pool all of the money they get. They try and predict how much of that money they've had come in is paid out again in claims. There's an element of profit. They need to pay the wages of all of their staff. But we can see then that there's a correlation between the amount they pay out and the amount they charge us. If they charge us very little, they won't be able to pay out a very high amount. And that's really the primary reason I will avoid these very cheap insurance policies. I would really encourage you to read the policy wording, to understand the policy wording. It's an incredibly boring document. They've made it that way to deter people from actually reading it. But it is often a real eye-opener to see what is covered and specifically what isn't covered. And just by comparing 2 or 3 different policies, you'll very quickly see there is a radical difference between some of these cheap insurers and some of the better quality names out there. Insurance then, it's nice to have. It gives us peace of mind. If something does happen, we can leave it with them to sort out for us. But if we cut corners buying that insurance, we can't expect the same level of service, the same level of expertise, professionalism in dealing with the claim that is submitted to them. Let me know if you've had particularly good or particularly bad experiences with insurers. Feel free to mention the names of the insurers as well, so we can build up a picture of which companies out there you favour and which ones you try and avoid. If you found this video useful, please boot the like button. Please subscribe to the channel. Please also consider joining the channel. We've set the subscription fee to be that of a car magazine or just buying me a pint of beer. And all of the money received goes into shaping future content. And as a joined member, you actually get an opportunity to let us know what you'd like us to cover in future. And if you've got any questions, I'll always try and give you an answer if you're a joined member. And I've lined up this video and this playlist for you that you should find really interesting. So see you in these next videos. Thanks for watching.